And we are live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to a rescheduled. I don't know. This isn't really a trash fire, is it, Jen? Because the movie we're
No,
doing
it's just
isn't.
a Thanksgiving film. It's a Thanksgiving
Yeah,
film,
it's
and
it's
one that has gone under a lot of people's radars. Well, not people from our generation, but I think unless you're from our generation, you might have missed Dutch. And it's not,
yeah
and
it
despite who wrote it, it's not a classic, or at least not just, it's a cult classic, but it's not as beloved as some of John Hughes' other films.
yeah. So for the uninitiated, we've kind of gone in the deep end. This is 1991's Dutch. This was directed by Peter Fairman,
Guy
and
who
in
did
other
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. If you're living outside the United States, you would probably, like myself, know this movie better as Driving Me Crazy. And as Jen said, hey Anthony, oh that's great. 2017. Jesus, you're catching up. So yeah, we're discussing 1991's Dutch, aka Driving Me Crazy. Again, I'm wondering why they renamed it in case Americans Americans kind of Dutch is a standard name, but over here people would probably think, is it the country? Are they talking about the country? The people from Dutch kind of Dutch people? Or why do you think they changed it, Jen?
I think Dutch works better. Driving Me Crazy is kind of long, and Dutch is just kind of one word titles sometimes. And it didn't help with this particular film, at least at the box office. But sometimes one word films are a little bit stronger at the box office, stronger of a draw.
Yeah, it's more catchier. It's definitely more catchier of a movie. But yeah, this is the first ever, dare I say, lead-in role for Ed O'Neill as the character of Dutch. This came out simultaneously when he was doing Married with Children, and yeah, it's an interesting performance. He does not like this movie, strangely enough. Jen and me were
No,
discussing this. He is not a fan of this movie,
No, he's not. I think part of it, I was
but
watching an interview he did, and I think part of it was the fact that when they started getting the feels out that this movie wasn't going to do well, critics hated it, the audiences weren't going to it. It didn't do well financially at the box office. John Hughes, he went kind of silent. He went kind of silent, and Ed O'Neill, from what I've heard, is a pretty kind of sensitive guy for all of his blue collar sensibilities. And I think it hurt his feelings that John Hughes didn't ever reach out to him and stuff. And he said later on that he didn't think he was the right guy for the part, which is interesting because Hughes actually didn't have him in mind for the movie. It was actually John Candy. And, it would probably, the movie, interestingly enough, I think the movie probably would have been a bigger hit had Candy done it. Not to say Ed O'Neill is the reason to watch this film, because
yeah,
there are problems with this movie. There are a lot of problems with this movie because it's like you said when we were talking earlier, this is just basically John Hughes. He definitely had a playbook, and this is basically his greatest hits. And but I think Ed O'Neill kind of, he's not doing that folksy kind of John Candy big hearted kind ofness. It's more of a blue collar kind of guy. He brings a little bit more roughness to the role, even though his
yeah.
character is very likable in and of himself. I think Ed O'Neill made the movie better, but it probably would have done better at the box office had Candy been in the leading man. But I'm kind of glad Ed O'Neill did it, although he's not.
I again, hey Sean Sheridan. I'm again. It's yeah, as you said, Candy. If Candy was involved, it would have had a bigger draw, and I think it may have been looked upon more favorably. But
And it would have been a little bit softer. And there's no, and like we've all seen that documentary with John Candy, but I think he would have made it a little bit more family friendly. This movie has a little bit of a bite to it, and some of the detractors of this movie, it's the things they don't like about it. I like that this has a little bit harder edges than some of your other John Hughes movies. It's very reminiscent of his films, but it has a bit of a harder edge.
Yeah, it's not as schmaltzy.
Yes.
There is a warmth to it, but it's not as schmaltzy, and that's down to the antagonistic nature of Dutch and Doyle. Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry's chemistry in this is fucking fantastic, and one of the criticisms cited was Ethan Embry's performance as Doyle. People fucking hated him, but that
Hmm.
was the point. He nailed the fucking assignment. I was talking to you earlier on. It's like, how come we love adult villains? We're like, oh, fucking Alan Rickman and Die Hard and Robin Hood. We hate him so much, we love him. Whereas if it's a child character, if it's fucking, if it's Ethan Embry in this, if it's Joffrey in Game of Thrones, like you send death threats to a fucking child. That's it's kind of it's a double standard, but Embry fucking nails us as this entitled little shit. And as the movie goes on, we pull back layers, the characters discover more about each other. And in fairness, like from the get-go, Dutch isn't an antagonistic kind of force. He isn't
No.
the kind of regimental stepdad that you'd think with these movies. He tries to give Doyle a chance. He's actually a fairly fun-loving, goofy fucking guy, and he's like the way he sees, oh yeah, we're both guys. We'll bond on this road trip and shit like that, and it just goes from bad to worse, and you can see him getting frustrated, and the two of them are just at each other till things hit rock bottom. And there is a moment, we'll get to it, but the chemistry between Embry and O'Neill is fucking fantastic. Did later go on to star in the revival of Dragnet. And I love Embry anyway. If you've ever seen a movie called Empire Records, he's one of the reasons I fucking love that movie. Sean says Ethan Embry is the best thing about this movie. Yes, he can be an annoying little sob, but that's because of the influence of his father. Exactly. His father, and father, the kid's not a bad person. He just has bad role models. Exactly,
I would agree.
Sean. And his dad is played by the classic fucking schlimeball of 80s movies, Christopher McDonald. Him and Arterton. Is it William Arterton from Ghostbusters and
Hmm.
Die Hard? Those guys always played fucking shitballs in movies in the 80s, and they're so good. Yeah, Sean, you're dead right. He has a character arc in this movie. Sorry, Jed, go on. I'm steering the conversation away from you.
No, no, no. Again, you guys both bring up some good points. I think that people have missed Ethan Embry as this is the character he's supposed to be, and we're supposed to get to go through a arc, and we're supposed to see that deep down inside he's a very lonely, sad person, and he's smart enough to realize, hey, my dad doesn't give a shit about me. And this movie has a lot of commentary on motherhood as well. Jo Beth Williams, although she doesn't get a lot of screen time, the little bit of screen time we get, she really is the one that loves her son, even though he's going for the dad. And there's also another scene toward the later, and in a lesser director's hands, this scene could have been really schmaltzy. But when we get to the homeless shelter, again, it's a mother that he's talking to. And I wondered what John Hughes was trying to say about mother. Well, I know what he was trying to say about motherhood, but it was interesting where he was pulling it from, because there's a lot of mother, that's kind of a driving force, even though she's not in the movie that much. That's what it kept saying to me. Like, okay, what are we saying about motherhood here and the male influence with motherhood?
Yeah, again, because we start off the movie and Doyle is very aggressive and very
Mm-hmm.
standoffish towards his
Hostile.
mother. So much so he's cutting her out of a fucking picture she's in.
Mm-hmm.
But then
He
I
doesn't
hope
cut
you.
her. He thinks about it, and that's actually a very telling scene. He doesn't actually do it. He wants to cut her, but he can't. And it's almost like an umbilical cord. If you think
Yeah.
about it, it's like cutting an umbilical cord.
But the thing I like, and I hope you don't mind me jumping ahead, it's
No.
only when Dutch says that, like, I can't fucking do this anymore. You're such a pain in the ass. Me and your mum are done. And Doyle is like, wait, no, hold on. You can't do that, because he realizes he's going to hurt his mum. His actions have ramifications towards his mother. and he doesn't actually want to hurt his mum. And
Mhm.
I think that's the first big crack between the two, the realization that like that Doyle isn't an absolute heinous little piece of shit. And this is when Dutch gives him a chance. He realizes, okay, maybe this kid isn't an absolute fucking pain in the ass after all.
Yeah, he does, because like Dutch, like you said, isn't a bad guy. He's not trying to be, like a military stepdad or anything like that. He's trying to. He's like the Ethan Embry tells him, you're like a big demented child, and that's what Dutch is. He's just a fun-loving big kid, and he has a kind nature to him. And the interesting thing about him, and I think Ethan Embry learns this, is that Dutch, he might not be on his dad's level of wealth, but Dutch isn't exactly a pauper. He has his own business, and he is fairly well off, but he doesn't look down on people, and he sure doesn't look down on someone who has to get up and work for a living. Most of us
Yeah,
do.
you get the sense even at the start when poor Dutch is at that is sticking out like a sore thumb at that soiree, and he's got his cheap suit and stuff. But you just get the feeling he's able to fucking talk shop with certain guys, and he's able to fucking stand toe to toe, whereas most guys, maybe it's ignorance or naivety, but he's not afraid of the upper class, and he's essentially a self-made man, and that's what gives him confidence to date Doyle's mother. And like, even there's a great scene as well where he's preparing meal. It's preparing a meal for Doyle's mother, and it's interesting. It shows it two kind of sides to Dutch. One, there's this manly, aggressive kind of side where he's cutting the chicken, but he's not chauvinistic to a point that he would not cook a meal for his girlfriend. He's able to look after himself in the kitchen. He's not a go make me my meal lady. He's very much a modern man, but he's a self-made modern man.
Yes, he's very much is. He's an everyman, basically. He's an everyman who just happens to have a little bit of money in his pocket, but he remembers where he comes from. He's a man who hasn't forgotten where he comes from. And you kind of think that this character really needs this type, because the only male influences we could be talking about, because this was the 90s, Marty, and there was a big discussion. Remember Murphy Brown, where the fictional character Murphy Brown was going to be raising a son on her own, and basically, could this be some commentary on what happens when a young man doesn't have a strong male influence in his life? There is the argument that says, single women can do it, but if you want the kid to turn out to be any decent man, you need some man involved in their life, whether it be their father or someone else. You can't raise a child without a man. And that's kind of what they're showing in this movie, if you think about it, because the piece of shit father he has really hasn't given the little bit he's given, the little bit of guidance he's given has just been an uppity snobbery kind of thing. And like, you're better because you have all these zeros in the bank account.
Yeah,
or am I looking in it too deep?
No, you're not, because I think like, okay, it's at the truck stop. It starts off funny, but then by the homeless shelter, Doyle has his eyes open to the plight of other people. Like, he comes to realize, fuck, I am privileged. Like, he takes everything for granted, and he's incredibly shitty about it. But then by the time he's reached the homeless shelter, he's realized that, Christ, I have it good, and these people. And again, like Dutch points out to him, like where the little girl wants to take the bread roll and he stops him. He's like, come on. So he breaks it in half. Again, character arc, as Sean said. Also, if you get a chance, guys, check out Sean Sheridan's channel. Fellow Irishman, awesome dude, does really good reviews. Go check out his channel, Sean Sheridan 123. Make sure you check out his channel. But yeah, it is a really well done character arc. And again, Embry, to organically go from this despicable little bastard to someone you actually like and someone you actually care about, that's grade A acting. And like Embry, he never really hit it big. As I said before, Empire Records loved him in that. Late Phases, the werewolf movie, he's great in that as well. He's just a great fucking actor, and I don't think he gets the fucking the roles he deserves. He deserves better. But
he was also Rusty Griswold in one of the not one of the good ones, but he was in.
It was the biggest one. It was
Yes,
that fucking
I said it
shitty
wasn't
Vegas
one of the
one.
good ones. It's
God
not the
damn.
worst. We've seen the worst one of those movies.
Oh, that Christmas one, the fucking Cousin Eddie. Jesus, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. Oh, Jesus.
But it's but he, and then the other thing, and I will give kind of a props, and I wonder if this is why maybe people don't hold it as they do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, is because there is another scene that really opens his eyes, and in a movie, especially a John Hughes movie, you would think, okay, they're not going to push it far, but for a John Hughes movie, they push it far, and that's when they actually kind of get harassed and beaten up by these security guards because they don't know, they think they're just these peasants and stuff, and they beat up Ed O'Neill, and they're not treating the kid much better. And I thought that's pretty, when I was watching it for this discussion, I thought that's pretty ballsy for the 90s and John Hughes to actually show that, and to show just because where your class is in life kind of determines how you get treated. And there's a couple scenes where they show that. There's a couple where they go into the restaurant and they need to use the bathroom and she won't let them, and it just shows that class in America.
Yeah, no, he does, Sean. He does. He's great in that. But yeah, like you said, it gets very dark, the bit where the security guards, because like shit, they're gonna kick the shit out of the kid as well as fucking Ed O'Neill. And like it flips to it peaks over the edge and then comes back again with the voices, Dad, the voices, and he pulls out the BB gun. But yeah, again.
That's like, where the John Hughes-isms really start. That's where, okay, we kind of dropped the ball a little.
It's funny to a point that, like, we can go, hey, check out the holiday movie where a child is nearly beaten to death by security guards, but he doesn't quite go there. And again, there is kind of like, it does go kind of bleak and dark in certain sections. As I said, where they go in and they refuse service at the kind of posh restaurant and stuff. Sean says, Ed O'Neill, I've seen in Little Giants, and he's a dad in Modern Family. Exactly. Yeah. One thing I was going to say, Sean, is I think, as we said before, Ed O'Neill isn't a fan of this movie, but I definitely think he dug this role out of the fucking cupboard, dusted it off, and used it for Jay in Modern Family. Because again, what you get is another kind of reluctant white-collar father with a heart of gold in Modern Family, and it's the same character. You have the character of Jay, who is a very blue-collar kind of guy, and he gets with Sofia Vergara and her child, and again, he's reluctant about it, but he's got a heart of gold, and it plays out. So I think he definitely recycled Dutch, the persona of Dutch, for that role in Modern Family. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you might be right. And I don't know why, because like, I like this movie. I like this movie Dutch, but the reason I like it is because of Ethan Embry and Ed O'Neill. This movie, while this is probably his darkest movie that John Hughes ever, and it's not that dark, but we're talking about John fucking Hughes here. But this is probably the darkest toned one, and it has some kind of mean-spirited stuff. A lot of people, even back in the day, were like, because there's a scene where Ed O'Neill leaves the kid to walk about 20 miles to the hotel room after he's been a complete and utter little shit. And on a lot of these holiday movies, you would see they might make the kid think they're going to do that, and then 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, they'll turn around and pick up the kid. Ed O'Neill does not do that.
You'd have the stereotypical thing of the car stop and your man look in the rear view mirror and be like, I can't do this. But no, he just drives straight to the fucking motel, and Ethan Embry's Doyle comes and goes, I could have frozen out there. Not solid. I love that.
And I liked also, but like, even though Ed O'Neill's trying to play it cool, you do see the scene right before he comes in where Ed O'Neill is really worried about the kid. He keeps looking out the window to make sure he's all right. And you can kind of see him breathe a sigh of relief when he sees them coming in. And I remember even back in the day, some parents are like, Jesus Christ. And our parents, most people that, 80s and 90s kids' parents, none of them were a gentle parody. They were like, put some dirt on it, you'll be fine, kind of parenting. And I remember back in the day, even some parents were like, Jesus Christ, they left the kid, to walk. And I remember some people were really pissed, and they also didn't like the scene with the hookers. A lot of people thought for a family-friendly film, it was a little too dark in places.
I love that scene because,
I do too.
again, for all his kind of snobby bravado and brusto and the like, 13-year-old boy, doesn't matter if he's from a silver spoon family. 13-year-old boy is going to 13-year-old boy. He's like, ooh, it's just, I love that. Like, for all fucking Doyle's upper crust wearing, it's like, ooh, boobs. I like that. I like that. I thought that was clever.
It was, and it's the funniest scene in the movie. I love when the blonde hooker is talking to Ed O'Neill, and she, what does she say? I'm a call girl, and then she looks at Ed O'Neill and she goes, I didn't want to say prostitute in front of the boy, and I love Ed O'Neill's facial expression. And then he goes, thank you, and I just love it.
Or I love how while the lads are asleep, they're trying to fleece them, and the fucking the shaving foam or whatever goes into the mouth. I thought that was fucking that was great. And again, the 13-year-old boy. Well, they weren't that bad. They robbed us.
She really listened to my problems. That's what she's supposed to do.
I just again, no matter whatever snobby upbringing, 13-year-old boy's going to 13-year-old boy. It's going to be like, boobs.
Could this movie be made today? That's another thing I was thinking about when I was watching it with all the subject matter in it. Because again, for a John Hughes movie, it goes dark. I mean, not real dark, but for a John Hughes movie.
I don't think so, because I'll give you another example of a John Hughes movie that was remade, and that's Home Sweet Home Alone. But they didn't want to put the kid in jeopardy, so they replaced Crooks with two parents who are hard done by and just want to get their doll back so they can save their house. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, Jesus.
I was thinking about that, though, that this is not the kind of, I don't think this is it could have only been made when it was made. I don't think they could redo it. And they certainly couldn't have done it without Ed O'Neill or Ethan Embry. And another thing, Ed O'Neill is very generous as an actor. He gives the kid a lot. You can tell they've got really good chemistry, and he lets the kid shine. And, some actors, even if they're kids, are very jealous of their screen time. But Ed O'Neill was not like that. And he gave the kid as much as he could, as much shine as he could, which I thought was very cool. I've heard he's a very nice person in real life.
Yeah, they play off. I think O'Neill, as well as being generous, he was smart enough to know this kid's got some acting chops. I'm going to bounce off this, and it's going to make me look good, and I'm going to make the kid look good. Like the scene where they're driving and Doyle turns off the radio, he starts belting out Hank Williams. I'm so lonesome. Ed O'Neill it's like he's at the cusp of shit. Ed O'Neill's really good at singing, and oh my God, that's the most irritating singing I've ever fucking heard. He's just right at the midpoint. He's so good in that scene.
He's good in a lot. Like I said, this movie I don't think would work very good if we had even John Candy. Like John Candy would have made it a little softer, a little sweeter, and it would have been more palatable to the mainstream audiences. But I don't think it would. I like that this movie has a little bit more harder edges to it. I do. And also there is another scene now thinking about it where Ethan Embry almost gets a truck driver killed. And again, we don't do it for laughs. I mean, the guy almost gets himself killed, and Ed O'Neill kind of covers him with the cops. But that's a pretty rough scene too, if you think about it.
Yeah, like I love Ed O'Neill comes. Hey, creepy. Ed O'Neill again. I think it's the blue collar approach that smooths out the situation. Ed O'Neill comes back and gives fucking Doyle a bollock, and he said that poor guy was going home to see his fucking wife and kids, and you pull that shit, and you just get the feeling that Ed O'Neill gave that guy a job or give him a fucking driving contract with his company so the cops didn't fucking. Yeah.
Well, generally most decent people don't involve cops.
Yeah.
Most decent people.
God fucking Jesus. Yeah.
I'm just
No.
saying, what kind of asshole calls cops or gets cops involved in business, Marty? Unless it's a serial killer or something.
Arseholes, that's who. Giant arseholes. But I digress. Yeah, it's again, there's as I said, he is like you said earlier on, he's not a pauper. Ed O'Neill's character isn't a pauper. He's obviously got a construction company or something, but he's self-made, and you just see that as the movie goes on. Like it's a passing line, but it works so well. The family that kind of treat them with respect and dignity at the homeless shelter and give them a lift finally to Doyle's home. Ed O'Neill, as he's leaving the car, come in on Monday. I'll have a job for you. And again, it's just nice. It's just more layers onto this really well crafted character.
I love that scene too. I think that's a really beautiful. And again, we could have gone schmaltzy, but it really works. And the scene before it, where Ethan Embry is talking to the mother, and they're just saying you miss your mom, and it's just a really beautiful scene. And it's not overdone, it's not overcooked, but it's a very beautiful. It's a very heartfelt. This is why it's a Thanksgiving movie. Is that scene right there? It's very heartfelt, and it does make you appreciate, because Thanksgiving is supposed to be about family. It got commercialized like everything else, but its true meaning is supposed to be having a dinner with the people you love, the people you consider your family. And that scene just makes you stop and think, no matter how hard or about what's going on in your life, the blessings you have, because there are other people who would kill to have your fucking problems in a New York Minute. And I think that's really the quintessential of why this is such a great Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, call me an aggressive alpha male or whatever the fuck you want to say. But I think the most heartwarming moment for me was where at near the end of the movie, Dutch confronts Doyle's father. And because he's a bitter motherfucker and he's a jealous motherfucker. Doyle decides he wants to stay with his mom instead of his dad because of his dad being a fucking dick. So he's like, fine, I want you and Doyle out of here, the house. You're not going to get any alimony. So Dutch follows him out, and this is set up earlier on, and it's really funny because Dutch threatens Doyle when he first says, see, you ever hit me like that again, I'm going to have an indent of my pinky ring in your goddamn forehead. And then fucking he confronts Doyle's father, and he's like, I don't give a shit about that bitch. I'm going to kick her out in the streets. And fucking Dutch just fucking one quick welt to the head, and the ring is embossed in his head. He's like, you're going to let her stay here as long as she needs. You're going to make sure she has financial backing. And then, and only then, are you going to cut off contact with that boy. Okay? And he's like, okay. It's just fucking But again,
that's also heartwarming. That is heartwarming.
It is fucking.
It really is. It is.
That was, and I love the fact they set it up early in the movie because Dutch is going. I thought it was going to be fucking Doyle. He ended up kicking with that ring, but no, it was a cute scene. It was a nice scene, just fucking the dad getting the comeuppance.
It was, but it also no. You just had me thinking. I didn't think of this till you said that. It also kind of you could take it as commentary as chosen family. That sometimes your chosen family is the family that loves you. Sometimes the family that you have can be pieces of shit. And it's not. So it's not about blood. It's about the people that love you. And sure, Dutch isn't the most have the greatest social graces, but when it comes to the people he loves, he will protect, and that's what family's all about. And will have your back. So in a way, this has some what?
No, I'm just thinking of fucking Doyle's dad and the expression just fucking, because I was like, fuck, did Dutch kill him? Has Dutch given him a brain hemorrhage or something with the fucking ring? I just love that scene.
I've read a review, though. Someone who really hated this movie said that was the final straw for them, is they didn't like it because, oh, yes, you're going to choose violence to solve your problems. And I'm like, oh, my fucking God. It went on and on about how, yeah, that's what a blue-collar guy choosing to solve violence is his problems. And I'm like, I think you missed the point, my dude.
It's Jesus Christ. It feels like a bunch of dry shites reviewed this movie, in fairness. It's like, oh, what kind of weirdo fucking shows a kid fucking racy playing cards? Fuck, it was the
A cool
90s,
fucking dad, you know.
Jesus Christ, come on.
The
But
kid's not 4, for God's sake. He's 13. I mean, even back then, we didn't have the internet back then, but I mean, Playboys, cards, whatever. It was a rite of fucking passage.
like, and even then, later on in the mall where he's showing him the motel, he's showing him the cards and the kid's interested. And then later in the as I said before, Doyle, for all his upper crust social graces, it's like, oh, he's the 13-year-old boy. I think that's fucking hilarious. It's like, yeah, any guise of higher bred upbringing is just dropped at that kind of thing.
Do you think this is too much, like there's too many emotions going on? Because the movie is somewhat bipolar in the sense that we get a really funny scene, or the scene with the fireworks. Everybody loves that, where Dutch is, blowing up fireworks, and then you get scenes that are a little bit, get beat up by fucking security guards and get turned away, and then you have this really heart-warming moment with the family in the shelter, and then next you have Dutch shooting Doyle in the ass. It's a bit of a bipolar movie.
Yeah, but
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just asking.
Like, I'm going to do another Hughes comparison, and I don't know if it'll work, but I'll try. If you look at Home Alone, Home Alone is that kind of roller coaster as well. It's an emotional roller coaster. Like, Kevin misses his parents. You have stuff with the neighbor as well. He's afraid of the neighbor, and he comes to kind of learn to respect and embrace the neighbor, and just, it's silly and goofy. This is just a harder edged version of a Hughes classic. And I just think because it was reviewed by a bunch of dry shites, if you ask me, that's why it never reached the status of Home Alone or Trains, Planes. Anyone say, look, if someone turns around to me and goes, this is the worst John Hughes movie ever, I was like, fucking Baby's Day Out, motherfucker. What the? And I like Baby's Day Out. I like the fact Joey Pants gets his bollocks burnt, but it's hardly high art, and neither is this. But this is fun. This is a solidly written comedy with two really good lead performances.
I would agree with you. And this is kind of John Hughes' last, even though it didn't do well financially, because then he started to do straight to the more really slop, the kind of family slop that's just, a diabetes level of sugary in the movies and stuff. And this was the last one. And I wonder, I don't know if it was just a money thing or if he got burned out. I wonder what happened because, John Hughes, there's heart, but there was always a little bit of edge. This definitely has the most edge, but then all of a sudden he kind of stopped.
Do you think this was the catalyst for that course correction?
I don't know. All I know is I did hear Ed O'Neill talking, and they just said that Hughes went radio silent as soon as bad reviews started, even before when they were getting feelers out. This isn't going to do well. And John Hughes got real quiet with everybody. So who knows?
Could it be the case that like his ego took a bit of a... I'm not even saying he had like a big ego, but like he had hit after hit after hit.
But he was also a punchline. Everybody, like even Home Alone, did phenomenal at the box office. But there were jokes. I remember in Dogma, where she's like, I wrote 19 of the 20 top films. Yeah, the 19. Yeah, that piece of shit about the kid going, I had nothing to do with it. People made jokes about John Hughes. He was never looked at as serious. You know what I mean? As a director, he was never looked at as serious. Or some of your other directors of the time. He was never a hard-edged one, and maybe he resented it. I don't know.
But fucking, if you have a kind of a string of hits and a string of movies, and you realize you've got a formula, you're working off that formula to make those hits, like I couldn't see Hughes going, I'll direct 12 Days in Tibet. I couldn't see him fucking like kind of drastically altering his kind of movie kind of category, or his the way he'd cook up a movie. Like, Creepy's got a thing here. Is this one on streaming anywhere now?
I
Definitely
think it's on
underrated and not
Tubi.
talked about enough. Sorry, Jen.
I think it's on Tubi. I think try Tubi, Creepy. I think it's on Tubi
Yeah.
for free.
Again, I still want to find out why it was called Driving Me Crazy everywhere else, and it was called Dutch in the States. I'm
Probably
wondering,
because it's a
did people
road
think it
movie.
was a foreign movie outside of the United States, because Dutch isn't a common name
No,
outside
Tubi always.
America. But yeah, had you any favorite scene or any favorite part in it?
My favorite is with, I just love Ed O'Neill and his facial expression when she goes, I didn't want to say prostitute in front of the boy. And I just love the look on Ed O'Neill's face. I thought that was really funny. I also, the other scene that really cracks me up, because my mother, she's not much for comedy. I guess that's where I get it, because I guess I'm not, but I mean, my mom's even worse. And she always cracked up at the scene where they're at the diner, that truck stop diner, and you see the food just swimming in grease, right? And the truck stop waitress with the beehive hairdo goes, "What'll it be, honey?" And he's just looks, and the menu is stuck together, and everything's stuck together. It's either sticky or grease. And Ethan Brembry looks up and goes, "What won't make me vomit?" It's a cute line.
That's funny. or the bit where Embry's giving fucking Dutch a shit time, because you know what I have that you don't? The ability to pay for my breakfast. And then hard cut the Dutch burping. He's like, nothing better than a bacon burp. And
yeah, nothing burps better than bacon.
And he's there, he's testing out his fucking hitchhiking thumb. I just love that. Embry's just there, for fuck's sake.
And he's like, that water looked tasty. And again, I remember some people back in the day were like, oh my God, they're starving kids. And like,
Come on, for fuck's sake.
Sean Sheridan says, I will say there are a few John Hughes movies I really don't like. Weird Science and 16 Candles. I'm not a huge fan of The Breakfast Club.
I like The Breakfast Club.
I love 16 Candles. That's my favorite, probably, is 16 Candles.
Tubi is great. I have to use a VPN, but it's great if you're able to pay for it. Yeah. But yeah, again, it's a fun movie. I think you should give it a shot if you haven't seen it. If you're sick of watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the 68 fucking time in a row, maybe give this a go.
You don't like
Eric.
Molly Ringwald, Eric? You're an 80s kid.
I've a friend of mine who doesn't like any movies she's in. I don't know why. He calls her Molly Ringworm. I'm just like, what the fuck, like, dude? What the?
Eric, explain why you don't. I'm not judging. I'm just mostly curious. How come you don't like Molly Ringwald? Is it something? Is it a movie? Is it? What about For Keeps? I like her in For Keeps.
He doesn't like redheads.
Okay, fair enough.
Doesn't think she's a good actor either. Jesus Christ, Eric, you savage.
Jesus, Eric, they're gonna lynch you. They're gonna tar and feather and lynch you.
But yeah, this is a great movie. I think this is a great alternative. As I said before, if you're just burnt out from watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because as myself and Jen have discussed time and time again, there isn't that many kind of classic Thanksgiving movies. And I think it works as well because it isn't super Thanksgiving centric. A lot of movies that are Thanksgiving are the primary focus is Thanksgiving dinner and whatnot. Whereas this is just a road movie that happens to be the lead up to Thanksgiving.
It's a great one. Where would you put this if you were to do a ranking? Where would you put Dutch? Like for John Hughes, even though he didn't direct it, he just wrote it. But where would you put this? Where would you rank it? Would it be in your top 3, or would it be a little lower, a little higher?
I'd say top 3.
Okay,
I'm going to go on.
No, go on. Sorry,
No,
I keep interrupting.
I'd probably put Home. No, you're okay. Probably Home Alone at number 1. This at number 2, and I apologize, Eric, but I still fucking love the movie The Breakfast Club at number 3. I love Bender. Bender is one of my favorite characters in cinema. He's up there, and I like that. I like the movie and just people fucking around and stuff, you know.
It isn't a bad movie. I don't mind it's not my all-time favorite. I think there's a stereotypical thing of 80s kids. We all love Breakfast Club. I like Breakfast Club. I just I'm for me 16 Candles is definitely my favorite of John Hughes films. I fucking love 16 Candles.
Okay, Eric, I'll give you that. You like The Breakfast Club, you just hate Molly Ringwald. Okay, that's cool.
There are some good Thanksgiving movies if you are tired of planes, trains, and automobiles. There is an underrated one. I don't think you've seen it. I've mentioned it to you, and it has an ensemble cast called What's Cooking. It's a comedy, and it's pretty funny, and it's just about people and just the headaches of family. It's a really good movie.
There is another one that's
Home
interesting.
for the Holidays.
Sorry?
Home for the Holidays is another one.
I was going to say Pieces of April. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Katie Holmes plays a goth. And yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun one.
She's dying.
It's cool. It's a good watch.
I like it, of course, because Misery. I was actually going to recommend that one.
You are. Yeah, Little Miss Chipper, as always.
The Big Chill is another one. It's not. It's much like Dutch. It's centered around. It's not a Thanksgiving movie, but it is around the Thanksgiving holiday. It's with William Hurt, of course. It's a really good movie, and it is a thing. No, it is a Thanksgiving movie. It's about a group of friends. One of their friends commits suicide, and they all get together, and it just happens to be the wake happens to be the weekend of Thanksgiving. It's actually a really good movie. It has a great cast.
Shiny, happy people, Janie.
You've seen it, right, darling? You've seen the Big Chill. You've seen the Big Chill, right?
Yeah, Kevin Kline is in it, and
yes, Meg Tilly.
Yeah, and my favorite, Jeff Goldblum. I think Jeff Goldblum is in it as well.
Yes, he is.
It's been ages since I've seen it.
But William Hurt is the one.
Okay, Eric pointed out another one. Addams Family Values. That one's great. The Thanksgiving play where they burn down the fucking the park.
I am a turkey.
The kids
Kill
me. Christina Ricci, we give you these, and you give us blankets and smallpox. I'll be at the side of the road.
Well, you
like Jesus Christ.
I had a few people when I was growing up said that character reminded them of me. I don't know why.
I couldn't fathom it either.
No, seriously, I never really got why they told me that, but they said the character of Wednesday Addams reminded them of me. I don't know why.
Mind boggles, Jen.
No, I'm not being funny. I was like, really? Yeah.
Neither am I. I'm not being sarcastic either.
But yeah, those are some good ones. Dutch, though, it's a sweet one, and again, it has some sweet sensibilities to it, but it never goes. See, I don't like the sappy, the really, the really feel good, Hallmarky kind of movies. Those kind of turn my stomach. I prefer ones that are a little darker and has a little bit more real life. Again, Home for the Holidays is a great one as well.
Is there any sappy Thanksgiving movie you do like? No.
Yeah, well, it's not sappy, but I guess it probably will surprise people. I love a Garfield Thanksgiving.
Well, you just love Garfield in general. When it comes to
I
Garfield,
do.
you're just you
Yeah.
do because you like the Halloween one as well and the Christmas one.
Yeah, and the Christmas one, and I watched the show when I was growing. Yeah, I'm a Garfield girl. I've always been a Garfield girl, so I guess. But I think that's a really sweet thing. I love the Garfield. Yeah, all the Garfield holiday specials are killer creepy. I think so.
They kick arse.
We should
But yeah,
watch
no,
them chill together for Thanksgiving.
but I'm not drinking anymore. I don't know if I'll be able to. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Thanks for stopping in, dude. Appreciate it regardless. Thank you.
And happy Thanksgiving to you too, Brian. I hope you get to spend it with the people you love. Hey, y'all don't do the bird and all that on there because y'all don't like oppress all the natives and stuff. Y'all didn't do. Well, you guys were the oppressed, I guess. You were the Native Americans, kind of. Because on the county, y'all didn't have no taters.
Yeah. Like, the irony is, shit got so bad in Ireland that Native Americans gave us their fucking money. I mean, I'm not joking. During the famine, Choctaw Indians
I know.
fucking collected all their money and sent it to the Irish. Things got so fucking chanky, and they're like, oh, fuck.
And that's part of the ones where I'm from. Like, that is part of the. So, like, yeah, Choctaw and Chickasaw were the ones that I come from. So, yeah, I knew that. You told me, but I knew it.
It's balancing it out. Like, you know, half of them have to give us their money during, you know, the famine. The other half has to hunt down Irish vampires in Sinners. Like, so the Choctaw really have to look after the Irish, whether it's Irish people dying from the famine or Irish vampires. They make sure no loose ends are left unchecked.
Nobody knew how to fish?
No, the thing is creepy. People did fish, and the issue was a majority of fish, meat, crops, wheat, everything was exported over to England.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not everyone lived on the coast. We're a small island, but not everyone lived on the coast. And I'm not going to go into a fucking tirade on what happened, but yeah, it's a very kind of fucking shitty state of affairs, because a lot of fucking people joke, oh, well, maybe you should eat other things besides potatoes. We couldn't, because all that stuff was fucking shipped out of the country by the English.
Mm-hmm.
We were England's breadbasket, essentially, and what was left died of a blight because of the weather. So yeah, so any kind of, like, the land would have been either too scarce to fucking rear fucking large animals at the time, or the people that managed to fucking have dry stock, such as pigs or cows or goats or chickens, that was all shipped out. A lot of the same with the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a story, creepy. It's a long tragic story, but I'm not getting into that because, you know, it's a thing for another time. But yeah, Jen, could this work for someone? Do you think another thing that maybe hobbled this would have been that it was maybe a bit too reliant on the Thanksgiving angle?
No, I think what it was is just people thought it was a little too mean-spirited, and and it wasn't written like you said. It was not. They had another actor in mind, and I think I honestly suspect the way Ed O'Neill was talking about it, and the interview is on YouTube. He did it on the Dennis Miller Show, and basically what I got from that is, like, Hughes probably like, okay, Ed O'Neill's fine, but I really wanted John Candy, and so, you know, that could have been a little bit of sour grapes too. Like, he might have thought down in his head, well, this movie would have probably been a box office hit if we'd had Candy. And they wanted, I think, a different director for it as well. I think they wanted to go with a different director as well. So there was a few issues before we even got started filming.
I think this works across the board. Now, you have said that it has problems, and it definitely does. There is a bit of a jarring tonal shift, but acting wise, O'Neill and Embry
O'Neill.
fucking steal the show.
Mhm.
There is some great setups, great gags. The soundtrack by Alan Silvestri, same guy behind Predator and Back to the Future, fucking kicks arse.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a solid fucking movie. It's a wicked movie. So yeah, you know, give it a look. I think even if you're outside of America and you may not entirely get, hey Akers, if you may not get the whole kind of Thanksgiving angle, it still works as a fun road movie, in my
It
opinion.
does. And it does hold on to the Thanksgiving angle pretty good, because like at the end of the day, you know, be thankful for what you got and the family, you know, whether it's chosen or your actual family, you be thankful, because there are people who are in way worse situations. No matter how bad you've got it, there's people who would kill to be in your shoes. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. On that note. But it's true, you know. I mean, it is. It's one of those things. I think it really does have a good message. It's just tonally, it's a little mixed. And then again, we have some John Hughes isms in this movie, and people love those movies for a reason. But you know, there were some well-worn things in his playbook.
Yeah. Do you want to see a John Hughes biopic? Should it be a John Hughes movie? I don't know. I think maybe, you know, that I Like Me documentary about John Candy, something like that. If you had people who worked with him who had nice things to say, I think that would work really well.
Yeah. He was an interesting guy, and he never wanted to become a Hollywood. I do know this about him.
Yeah.
He did not want to be
What
a
do you
Hollywood
think, Jen?
guy. I think it would work if they did like the Candy style documentary. I think that would work really well. I don't know much about John Hughes, except I knew he never wanted to be a Hollywood guy. He never wanted to be a Hollywood guy. Like that was one thing he kind of detested. I think he kind of was sold out with Hollywood towards
Jen, I covered all we can about the movie.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Am I frozen? Okay. Oh, sorry. It went frozen for a minute. Okay.
No,
sorry about that.
there's a wee bit of lag.
Sorry
I think there's a
about
wee bit
this.
of lag.
Okay. I'm sorry. You were asking a question, and I don't think I got the whole thing. You were asking a question, and I don't think I got the whole thing. You want me to go in and come out there?
Yeah, I think.
Uh-oh. Okay, guys. I managed to make the Trash Picture Show split. You know, after all these streams, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Hopefully Marty will be back. Hopefully it's not slow on my end. Hopefully the thing's okay. Stacy, some of my favorite scenes in this movie is definitely with the prostitutes. I think the scenes with the prostitutes are really funny. There we go.
Sorry about that. There was a bit of lag, so I reloaded the.
Was it on my end or your end, darling?
I think it's on my end. There's a bit of slowdown sometimes if I have too much stuff running in the background. You were answering Akers' question.
Yeah, I was just saying that for me, the favorite scenes in this movie are definitely with the prostitutes. And for comedy-wise, I think those are some of the best scenes. I like how when she says, I don't want to say prostitute in front of the boy. And then I like the scenes where you see Doyle falling asleep and he's drooling and her breasts are very plump and out there and you see the drool coming out. I think that's a really cute scene in the movie as well. What about for you,
Yeah, no,
darling?
that's a fun scene, and the scene where Dutch knocks out Doyle's father with the pinky ring. I think
Mm.
that again, McGavin's fucking performance is brilliant in that scene as well. Just his reaction to being fucking punched is great. Great kind of physical comedy, and again, it's heartwarming.
It very much.
Kind of heartwarming scene involving violence. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up here, Jen. What you reckon?
Yeah, I think that this is definitely I think this is a good place to end it, and I think this is a movie. If it's been a while, or if you've never seen it, give it a chance, because, like Marty says, we can only watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles so many times. There are other great Thanksgiving movies out there, but you really do kind of have to hunt. And this one, I think, has gone under a lot of people's radars. And you can't beat Ed O'Neill. Uh-oh, and you guys are stuck with me again. I'm gonna keep this going for a minute in case Marty wants to try to jump back in. I think he's having technical difficulties. Oh God, you guys are stuck with me. Talk about holiday nightmares, guys. But yeah, I do think that this is a really great Thanksgiving movie that has been overlooked in time. And like I said, I don't know why Ed O'Neill doesn't particularly care for this film, but I think he does really well with this material, and I think he makes Ethan Embry really shine as well. And JoBeth Williams and are the actor playing the Doyle's father. They don't give a lot of screen times, but they're really great as well. I think Marty might be the one watching in the shadows with the overcoat this time. Better?
Hey, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Although I think I scared our audience when they had to just have me all by themselves. Sorry.
No, you're good. But come here, Jen.
Yes.
I'm gonna wrap it up here now. But before I go, I just want to thank everyone who stopped. No bother. I want to thank everyone who stopped by. First off, want to thank Sean Sheridan, again, cool channel. We had Anthony Shobitz, we had Eric, we had Creepy McGee, we had Brian, and did we have anyone else? Acres of Movies. Thanks a million for stopping in. Before I go though, Jen, what is currently on your channel? What do you want people to check out?
I have a new Tales from the Crypt episode, episode 4 of season 1, Only Sin Deep. It's a fun one. We did, and it's another husband. It's the second one, and we're only into 4 episodes, and it's the second one where it's a husband and wife team. The husband's in the director's chair, and our pretty starlet is the star of it, and it also happens to be his wife. So it's an interesting episode to chew on.
Cool.
What about
so make sure you check that out. And me, at the moment I am a bit busy with real life, so my content output might be a bit slow. Myself and yourself have a couple of live streams coming up on the lead up to Christmas. We're doing our Festive Flicks series, so we'll have that out for December. I'm hoping to have a retrospective on Peter Jackson's King Kong, a fairly detailed one on the movie, on the expanded media, and so on and such forth. So keep an eye for that. But yeah, by and large, I hope you guys have a awesome Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And big thanks to this lady for doing this stream with me, because it's fun. It's fun talking about this movie. Again, it doesn't get half enough attention. And when I brought it up, Jen was like, yes, we definitely have to do this one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's, like I said, it gives you the holiday spirit. And on a more personal note, just a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful meal and are with the people they love the most, because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Like, it's just being with the people you love. That got very syrupy, and I'm not a syrupy person. Hormones.
No, not probably, you know. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end it here. But again, thanks again to Creepy McGee, Eric, Acres of Movies, Sean Sheridan, Brian, and Anthony Showbutts, and anyone else who is watching. You guys kick ass and have an awesome Thanksgiving. Take care. Shlán Walya. Good night.
I'm going to go make Marty some taters and I'm going to shape them like my boobs. That's going to be my Thanksgiving meal for him.
But no, should that not be me like Richard Dreyfuss in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind? I'm just making your tits with a fork out of mountains of mashed potato.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And butter, Marty. Lots of butter. I want to be all glistening.
And on that unsettling note, good night. God bless. Take care. Bye.
Gobble the turkey, and turkey is a euphemism for vagina. Be sure to chow down on all them turkeys. Gotta not leave it on penis this
didn't
time.
say penis, but you know,
I'm not gonna leave it on penis. Vaginas. Gobble, gobble.
Bye.